Currently, there are 32 wars in 27 different countries that are impacting the lives of many people. Many of these people are separated by racial prejudice and of the lack of life skills and poverty. My research question is, how can sports be implemented to rebuild war-torn communities? My name is Akil Reveru. This topic is relevant because currently in war-torn communities there are racial prejudices and radical groups which pose as a risk to children who might follow the same route. The addition of sports can mitigate this by bringing up the gaps between different people to influence the younger generation of the harms of these practices. Sports are also significant in that they provide the opportunity of a community to reunite and cause for an increase of nationalism as a result. The two stimulus materials I'll be using in my argument would be The Sporting Spirit by George Orwell, because of his comments on sports having the possibility of increasing nationalism within athletes and watchers. I am also using the stimulus material of Hoops by Bill Bamberger because it gives me the opportunity to touch base on what sports can offer to community members once enacted. My two perspectives would be peacekeepers and volunteers and community members. The peacekeepers promote peace-building efforts, such as the reducing poverty rates and the education of community members regarding important subjects such as job skills. Miles Schrag is a master graduate from the University of Illinois. He said that sports offer opportunities for social networks and teachable moments that can be part of one bigger peace-building effort. This evidence can show that peacekeepers use sports for the umbrella motivation of reintegrating the community and aiding it better through other factors. Community members are also aided by sports in that sports help develop character and other important traits through sports. Bill Bamberger, the photographist for Hoops, stated that the sports also allude to character, friendships, and community that can be forged through games. It can be inferred that the sport was a bond through the community for Bill, and can become one in the future once sports are applied to more communities, bringing on a sense of community. The limitations of social lenses would be that to gain the sense of community and necessary traits from these peace-building activities, it would require constant implementation by peacekeepers to monitor the development of players. This would thus require more funding to maintain this program. The risk of recruitment by radical groups, however, has not diminished because groups still focus on children with a lack of education or are in financial poverty. The perspectives to consider for the ethical lens would be of the sport organizations and of the children. The sport organizations are implemented to promote sports in more communities while teaching important life skills like teamwork to community members to help rebuild societies. For example, Right to Play's SportWorks Chad program, a humanitarian organization, uses sport and play programs to improve health and build life skills among children in participating refugee camps and host communities. This gives an example of the opportunities given by sports, such as improving conditions in these camps and communities. This also can serve as a distraction as children are part of a sport group, therefore keeping them occupied to avoid terroristic groups. Similarly, children are benefited from the alternative activity because of the benefits they gain through these peace-building movements. The United Nations state that well-designed sport activities can provide an attractive alternative for young people seeking to make friends, build their sense of self-esteem, and self-confidence and find a positive direction in their lives. This would benefit the children in that they would turn out against ideas commonly shown in war zones, while benefiting the community in the future with a more educated group without racial prejudices. The limitations, however, for the ethical lens would be that there is still a risk for recruitment due to external factors. Karen Stephen, the director of Children Health at the University of Illinois, stated that current thought is that some children's behaviors are related to biological factors and some to environmental factors. It can be inferred that even with sports, it is possible for children to lean towards radical groups. Additionally, it can be said that many important vital signs may have not been touched on, such as formal education. My solution would be mainly focused on cross-cultural projects to help reduce the separation of different races of the community, while allowing other peace projects to occur. The projects would help educate the community of important life skills, while allowing other peace projects hosted by different volunteers to occur, such as reducing the rates of poverty and homelessness. I also believe that sports should be implemented in more areas, including areas not plagued by war, but have post-war history. The implementations of the solution would be that they would be implemented by coaches and sport organizations, which are registered with supranational organizations such as the organization in the UN. They would start off with local invitation and include extensive research on whether or not this community contains racial prejudices. Measures like this one are being implemented in Sri Lanka as along with other small communities around the world. New games and exchange visits with the strong support of both communities have also been well received, successfully in setting the stage for wider peacemaking projects. The limitations of my solutions would be the lack of formal education among children and possibly adults. The sports would not directly give education needed for the community to succeed. The possibility of recruitment also exists, as it attracted community members who are suffering with other problems such as homelessness and continuous war in the region. However, despite all of these limitations, the addition of sporting activities proves helpful as a long-term solution. Significance. Communities have dehumanized minorities, and as a result has enacted various mistreatments of these people. These mistreatments include genocides and have split up different communities in these war zones. People are turning to more radical ideas due to the lack of education and poverty and the violence of the surrounding areas. As a result, we people should support these sporting actions in war-torn areas to help the education of small children and the distraction of the community from turning into radical groups. Thank you.